Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel where I demo CrossFit workouts. So today I'm going to be doing the Fittest Experience Qualifier workout for 2026 while talking about some dates gone wrong stories from Reddit. So let's get right into it. This is the first one. I once had a guy message me, pretty cute and very sarcastic. He seems to have just enough self-hate to keep him from being a supreme asshole, and that's my favorite. He mentioned something briefly about having money, but nothing raised a red flag in his bio. So he messages me first and says something about being in town for a bit and only having a couch to sleep on at his brother's place. So if he could borrow my bed, that'd be great. I messaged something snarky about him simply needing to replace the couch with any bed and problem solve, which he took seriously. I wrote him off at this point, but he messages back an hour later asking if we could start over, so I lightened up. He asked me if we could have some drinks that night. I agreed. It was my last night in that town for a long time and I wanted to have fun. So he picks me up, but I get in the car and he doesn't look at me, no hello or anything. I say hi and he looks the other way and said, "What's up?" The most douchey thing I'd ever encountered on Tinder, and I was on the West Coast where guys seem to be much more polite. He was wearing a Penn State hoodie though, which is where I was off the next morning, so we talked about that for a bit. On the way to the bar, I learned he liked country music. Terrible, and worked in oil. Basically, his bonuses depended on the price of oil being high, so I immediately disconnected there. As soon as we got to the bar, I realized I'd be needing to drink more than usual for this date to even go a little amicably. So I asked him what he drank, and he flat out says that he doesn't drink. He hates it and he hates himself on alcohol, so he never touches the stuff. Doesn't see the appeal of it, as I'm downing my local IPA as I do. I have a few drinks and loosen up, try to find a common ground. He seems really insecure and out of his element with me. He keeps saying he wanted to go to the library, so figuring there was something happening there, I agreed to it. There was nothing. He just wanted to walk around and find a corner to fuck in. I just walked out and got out of his car laughing. He then asked me what he'd need to do to get what he wanted, and since I'd already decided that thing would never get in my pants, I told him he'd need to buy me shots and have an adult conversation with me. I'd figured he'd decline and take me home, but he took me to another bar and bought me shots. In an attempt to keep the conversation going, I brought up Tinder and asked for his best stories. He then proceeded to get bold and talk about the disgusting ways he tricked women into sleeping with him and how shitty he treated them afterward. Just incredible. As proof of his ridiculousness, he started talking about this girl on Tinder he messaged with something about needing a bed to replace his couch. He couldn't believe she replied and it actually worked out. That was me. I called him out for that and he just went pale and quiet. I laughed and said he made a good bro. When I had my fill of free shots, I told him I was ready. I knew a spot. He just needed to drive us. I made him drive 1 block from my house and got out. He asked if we were going to fuck and I laughed and I said, "Hell no, dude. Good night." He drove off and I figured that was that. That was a year ago. Last month, he actually found me on Facebook and messaged me. He was at Penn State and if I was in that area, we should have dinner. I couldn't fucking believe it. I just asked if he remembered that I was the one he didn't get to bang and he said he remembered, but he'd still like to have dinner. I assume for revenge? I have no idea. I just said I had no interest in it and wouldn't fuck him, so he shouldn't waste his time. He simply said touche, and I genuinely hope he fell off the face of the earth after that. That sounds like a pretty terrible date. It sounds awkward. A little backstory. A few years ago, I was dating this girl and her father really hated me, which was a bit odd as most parents love me, or at least lie about it real well. He was just a huge prick, and I always called him on his shit. Anyways, her parents got divorced, we broke up a few months later, etc, etc. Fast forward to around a year later, me and this girl from Tinder were dating a few months and things were starting to get serious. We're at the point where she wants me to meet her family, mother, stepfather, little sister, why not? I have no problems meeting them. Let's do it, I said. She told me how excited her stepdad was to meet me. As it turns out, we both happen to be Kansas City Chiefs fans. Well, fuck me if it isn't the same asshole father of my ex-girlfriend. What are the chances of that happening? Really sucks for that guy though. I matched with a girl on Tinder who looked very attractive and even used a shot that showed her bare shoulders. So I thought for sure I'd get something out of it. I post my puppy that I had just gotten as a moment to whore him out and get some likes, conversations going from the ladies I've matched with already. She asks about him and tells me she has a puppy too. Boom, sounds like a play date. We agree to chill at my place with our dogs 2 days out and we don't really talk until then. Day of, she texts me and heads over at night. I tell her maybe we can get some beer, wine, if she'd like to. She gets to my place in a beat up car, and when she comes out, I'm shocked. She is huge. Like, I was genuinely impressed she made herself look so attractive. I walk up to the car and say hi while coming up with a plan to get her out of here, and she literally has spinach, a piece of bean, in her fucking teeth. I immediately decide I'm going to ditch her and go to the bars after regardless, so I offer for us to go get some beer down the street while walking her dogs. Her dog itches himself in my apartment, and dandruff-like material starts coming out like he's a fucking salt shaker. Disgusting. Anyways, we got some beer, and I was extremely cordial the entire time. I texted my roommate, who was home, and told him I needed to get her out of here, and he offers to yell out, "Hey man, remember when you were gonna pick up my brother from the airport? Well, they've landed, so we have to leave in 20. I apologized profusely to her, and we chill for a bit. All my friends were out in the living room, and we were talking, and after an exact 20 minutes, I got her out, blocked her number and account. Well, he did a really good job being polite to her the entire time, and that was clever getting his roommate involved to get him out of that situation. Started speaking to this guy on Tinder a few months ago. He seemed alright, but not my normal type. Regardless, we started speaking for a couple of days. I didn't realize how stupid I was until now, but I mentioned where I work. The night I mentioned my workplace, I saw a guy walk past that looked a lot like him. I hadn't met him in person, so I wasn't 100%. I forgot about it, and a couple of days later, it was quiet in work, but my phone battery was low. I said I'd speak to him later before my phone died. Cue him coming in 10 minutes later with a iPhone charger. Yes, this might have been a nice gesture if, I'd actually met him face to face before. It was really weird because he said he'd lived on the other side of the city from where I work. I wanted to cut ties straight away, but I thought I'd return the charger after I finished work. He said he would be in a bar around the corner, so when I finished, I met up with him, gave him his charger, and made some excuse to go home. To my horror, I saw on his Instagram that he'd taken a smiling selfie earlier in the day with the caption, "I'm now a taken man." I'd seen him not even twice. To make it even scarier, for a good 2 weeks, every time I'd finish work, I would see him casually walking past on his own, exactly at the time I'd finished. Really creeped me out for a while. This sounds like really scary, stalkerish behavior. I hope that this guy is no longer in this girl's life. Let me know what you guys think of these stories, and I will see you all in the next one.